the very ground you walk on, the deep forests and mountains you traverse. Did you know that powerful, unseen Nat spirits are constantly watching you, whether out of ignorance or intent? A single insult towards them could reduce your entire life to ashes. Let's begin the first tale of the 10 most mysterious traditional Burmese Nats. Right now, welcome back to Evening Chronicles. Before we begin this journey into Myanmar's spiritual heart, please make sure to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon to support our channel and never miss an episode of Mysterious Chronicles. Part 1. Lord of the Great Mountain, Min Mahagiri, or Mong Tinta. Our journey begins in the ancient kingdom of Tagong, long before the golden age of Bagan. In a small village on the outskirts of the capital lived a blacksmith named Mong Tinta. He was a man of extraordinary stature, standing 8 cubits tall, and possessed the strength of 5 rampant elephants. Mong Tinta was famous throughout the land. When he worked his bellows, the very ground of the city shook. When he struck his anvil with his massive hammer, the sound echoed like thunder. He had a younger sister named Ma Shamayat Hla, also known as Sami Yar, who was renowned for her exquisite beauty. News of Mong Tinta's superhuman strength eventually reached the ears of the king of Tagong. Instead of being proud of his mighty subject, the king became consumed by fear and jealousy. A man this strong will surely take my throne, the king thought. He ordered his soldiers to capture and execute the blacksmith. But Mong Tinta possessed a keen sense of danger. Before the king's soldiers arrived, he fled into the depths of the dense jungle, where no one could find him. Frustrated, the king devised a wicked and cunning plan. The king had Ma Shamayat Hla brought to the palace. Captivated by her beauty, he made her his queen, raising her to the highest rank. He then used his queen as a pawn, speaking to her with sweet, deceptive words. "My dear queen, I do not bear any ill will toward your brother, Mong Tinta. His talents are precious to our kingdom. I wish to appoint him as the general of the Tagong army. Send a letter to him, asking him to return from the jungle. I give my royal word of safety." The innocent and trusting sister believed the king. She sent a letter to Mong Tinta, urging him to return, assuring him of the king's favor. Trusting his sister's word, Mong Tinta returned to Tagong city. As soon as he stepped through the city gates, 100 soldiers surrounded and captured him. He was bound in heavy chains and dragged to the outskirts of the city, where he was tied to a massive saga, champak, tree. The wicked king ordered him to be burned alive. As the wood was piled high and the flames began to roar around Mong Tinta, a figure rushed from the palace. It was Queen Ma Shamayat Hla. Seeing her brother suffering such unfair torture, she could not bear the pain, crying, "It is because of me that my brother must die." She jumped into the raging fire. The king tried to grab her, but he was too late. He only managed to save a lock of her hair as her entire body was consumed by the flames. The Hmong, brother and sister, died together, burned alive, filled with intense rage and unfinished destiny. After their death, their restless spirits inhabited the saga tree, becoming powerful and vengeful Nats. Their anger was so great that anyone or anything that stepped into the tree's shadow, human, horse, or elephant, would immediately vomit blood and die. The kingdom of Tagong lived in terror. Eventually, the king of Tagong, unable to stop the spiriting's rage, ordered the saga tree to be uprooted and thrown into the Irrawaddy River. The tree drifted downstream until it reached the kingdom of Bagan. The reigning king, Thinley Kyong, had a dream about the Hmong spirits and their tragic story. He ordered the tree to be rescued from the river. The king of Bagan felt pity for them. Desiring to use their power to protect his kingdom, he recognized them as official spirits, giving them the titles of Min Mahagiri, Lord of the Great Mountain, and his sister as Tong Gyi Shin, Lady of the Great Mountain. He allotted them a place on the sacred Mount Popa. Since that time, they have been venerated as household guardians. Households hang a coconut, draped in a red scarlet cloth, in the central room, Anu, to propitiate Min Mahagiri. It is believed that if you insult the household guardian, engage in indecent acts in the main room, or allow the sacrificial coconut to rot without replacement, you will face severe consequences. Sickness, vomiting of blood, or financial ruin are said to be the vengeful acts of Min Mahagiri. Part 2. the Tongbayon brothers. This chronicle takes us to the golden age of the Bagan Empire, during the reign of the legendary King Anarata. In the king's court, there was a minister and general of Indian descent named Bayata, who possessed extraordinary strength and magical abilities. Bayata fell in love with a flower-eating ogress princess of Mount Popa, Miwana. They had two sons, Shufyan Gyi and Shufyan Nge. The brothers grew up to be exceptionally strong, handsome, and skilled in martial arts, inheriting their father's magical prowess. They could run as fast as lightning and leap like birds. King Anarata loved them like his own sons, and they became high-ranking generals in the Bagan army, leading many successful campaigns. However, the brothers were young, powerful, and arrogant. They spent their leisure time gambling, specifically on cockfighting, and indulging in pleasure, which earned them the envy of other ministers in the court. These rivals were constantly looking for an opportunity to destroy the foreign generals. The opportunity came when King Anarata returned from China, bringing with him a sacred relic of the Buddha. To celebrate, the king ordered the construction of a unique pagoda at Tongbayon, near modern-day Mandalay. He commanded every minister, general, and soldier to contribute to the merit by laying one brick themselves. The Shufyan brothers, preoccupied with a cockfight, neglected the king's order. They failed to show up at the construction site. The jealous ministers immediately reported this to King Anarata, poisoning his mind. "My lord, the Shufyan brothers did not just neglect the work. They are arrogant and believe they are more powerful than the king himself. This is a sign of rebellion," they whispered. King Anarata, though a great king, was also a strict disciplinarian. When he inspected the pagoda and found two empty spots where the brothers' bricks should have been, his anger flared. He ordered the immediate arrest of the Shufyan brothers. The jealous ministers, fearing the king might change his mind, acted quickly. They dragged the brothers outside the city to be executed. The brothers were so powerful that normal swords would break against their bodies without leaving a scratch. Their enemies, knowing this, resorted to a barbaric and cruel method of execution, crushing their testicles with bamboo poles while they were still alive. The Shufyan brothers suffered an excruciating and unfair death, filled with intense rage and betrayal. Their restlessness did not end with their physical bodies. When King Anarata returned to Bagan by royal raft along the Irrawaddy River, the raft suddenly stopped in the middle of the water, as if anchored by an invisible force. The angry spirits of the Shufyan brothers appeared in the king's dream. "We were your loyal servants, but we were unfairly killed. We have no place to go," they pleaded. King Anarata felt remorse. He designated the Tongbayon area as their domain and ordered a Nat shrine, Nat Quin, to be built for them. They became the Tongbayon brothers, among the most powerful and widely worshipped Nats in Myanmar. Today, their annual festival at Tongbayon is one of the biggest Nat festivals in the country. However, their rage remains dormant. A strict taboo exists. Pork must never be brought into their shrine or offered to them, because of their father's Indian/Muslim heritage. According to local belief, violating this taboo, or insulting the brothers, can bring sudden catastrophe, car accidents, or sudden death. Part 3. Popa Midaw, Mother of Popa, Miwana. This story is a continuation of the tragedy of the Tongbayon brothers, but from the perspective of their heartbroken mother. During the same golden age of King Anarata of Bagan, Mount Popa was a mysterious mountain, full of medicinal plants, alchemists, and powerful spirits. The ruler of this mountain was an extraordinarily beautiful ogress princess named Miwana. Unlike typical ogres, she was gentle, compassionate, and lived solely on the fragrance of flowers. As told in the previous chronicle, she met and fell in love with Bayata, the king's powerful minister who was tasked with collecting daily flowers from Mount Popa for the palace. They had two sons, Shufyan Gyi and Shufyan Nge. The tragedy began when Bayata failed to deliver the flowers on time due to his love for Miwana. King Anarata, a strict ruler, was furious and ordered Bayata's immediate execution. Miwana was devastated, but she held on to life for the sake of her two young sons. King Anarata, after executing Bayata, took his two sons to the palace to be raised as princes. Miwana was left alone on Mount Popa, pining for her children and her lost husband. Years passed as she lived in heartbreak, watching her sons grow up to be powerful generals. The final blow came with the unfair execution of her two sons at Tongbayon, as described in Part 2, when the news reached Mount Popa that both her beloved sons had been barbarically killed on the orders of the same king who had killed her husband. Miwana's heart shattered. She could not bear the overwhelming grief and rage. She stood on the peak of Mount Popa, pining toward Tongbayon where her sons were executed, crying, "Why has my entire family been taken from me?" In a fit of immense sadness and despair, her heart literally broke, and she died of a broken heart, Angyu, on the mountain. After her tragic death, her spirit became an incredibly powerful and revered Nat, known as Popa Madaw, Mother of Popa, or the Queen Ogress of Popa. Popa Madaw is both compassionate towards mothers and families, but also possesses a fierce, protective wrath. Because of her tragic history, several taboos are strictly observed at Mount Popa. The color green must never be worn. Green was her favorite color, and she is said to become jealous and angry if anyone wears it, perceiving it as an insult or a rival. Additionally, pork is strictly forbidden, as it was forbidden by her husband's faith. Violating these taboos or insulting Popa Madaw is believed to bring her wrath. Local legends tell of sudden car accidents on the winding Popa roads, people vomiting blood, or sudden catastrophes befalling those who dared to disrespect the pining Mother Nat of Mount Popa. Part 4. The Lady of Three Beauties, Thonpan Hla. This story brings us back to the intricate web of human emotions and royal intrigue that defines many Burmese Nat legends. Our chronicle takes us again to the palace of Bagan, during the reign of King Anarata. But the tragedy begins in the kingdom of Piari Prom. In a noble family lived a girl named Ma Tue Hla, who was so breathtakingly beautiful that her fame spread across the empire. Ma Tue Hla was not just beautiful. She possessed a supernatural charm. Her beauty changed 3 times a day. In the morning, she was as fresh and innocent as a child. At noon, she was as radiant as a blooming flower, and in the evening, she was as elegant and dignified as a queen. For this reason, she was given the title Thonpan Hla, Lady of Three Beauties. King Anarata of Bagan, hearing of this enchanting woman, decided to make her his queen. He dispatched his faithful minister and general, Amat Dine, to Piai with a royal escort to bring Thonpan Hla to the Bagan palace. This was the beginning of the end. As Amat Dine escorted Thonpan Hla to Bagan, he himself fell deeply and desperately in love with her supernatural beauty. He knew she was destined for the king, but he could not bear the thought of losing her. He became consumed by intense jealousy and possessiveness. Amat Dine devised a desperate and cunning plan. He sent a secret messenger ahead to King Anarata with a false and alarming report. "My lord, Thonpan Hla is indeed beautiful, but she is not a normal human. She is a powerful sorceress or an ogress in human form. Her body grows to a gargantuan size at night, and she can consume whole elephants. If you bring her into the palace, she will bring ruin to Bagan." King Anarata, a mighty ruler but also a man of strict rules and suspicion, believed his trusted Amat Dine. He feared for his kingdom. He immediately issued a royal order. Thonpan Hla was forbidden from entering the city of Bagan. She was to be left in a jungle camp outside the city, near the bank of the Irrawaddy River. Thonpan Hla, traveling with hope and joy to become a queen, was suddenly stopped and abandoned in the misty jungle camp. She was utterly heartbroken, confused, and filled with a profound sense of shame and despair. Amat Dine's love had become her curse. Left alone in the jungle, Thonpan Hla spent her days pining towards the palace, crying in immense sorrow. The betrayal by the general and the rejection by the king broke her gentle spirit. In a fit of pining and sadness, she died of a broken heart, Angyu, in the jungle camp. After her death, her pining spirit became a powerful and widely propitiated Nat, known as Thonpan Hla. She is considered the guardian of women, love, and specifically beauty. Today, Thonpan Hla is often propitiated by those seeking success in love or beauty. However, her wrath is also feared. Several taboos are strictly observed. Insulting women or engaging in indecent acts in her shrine is strictly forbidden. Local belief holds that disrespecting her, or being unfaithful in love after asking for her help, can bring her vengeance. Sickness, sudden financial ruin, or love life failure are said to be the vengeful acts of the pining lady of three beauties. Part 5. Lord of the White Horse, Mayan Fayu Shin, or General Tui Yi. Our chronicle returns to the bloody battlefields of the Bagan Empire, where loyalty was sometimes rewarded with death. During King Anuradha's campaigns to unify Myanmar, there was a general of extraordinary courage and strategic genius named Tui Yi. He was the king's right-hand man in many battles, always leading the charge on his majestic, faithful white horse. General Tui Yi was adored by his soldiers and the people. However, in a pivotal battle against a rival kingdom, communication failed. The general's troops fought bravely and won a significant victory, but the messenger he sent to the king was intercepted and killed. Back at the Bagan Palace, jealous ministers, who envied General Tui Yi's rising power, used this communication gap to their advantage. They poisoned King Anuradha's mind. "My lord, General Tui Yi has betrayed you. He did not win. He has joined forces with the enemy and is now marching back with their army to seize the throne." King Anuradha, a strict disciplinarian and a man with a fierce temper, believed the ministers. He immediately issued a royal order. General Tui Yi was to be captured upon his return and executed without trial as a traitor. General Tui Yi, returning with his triumphant army, was met not with a hero's welcome but with arrest. He was confused and devastated by the accusation of betrayal. Trusting in his loyalty, he allowed himself to be bound and taken outside the city. The jealous ministers, fearing that the king might discover the truth, act quickly. Fearing the general's physical prowess, they decided on a barbaric method of execution to destroy his soldier's spirit, stabbing him through the soles of his feet while he was still alive. General Tui Yi died an excruciating and ignominious death, filled with intense rage and unfinished destiny. His faithful white horse is said to have died of grief at his side. After his death, his restless and vengeful spirit became an exceptionally powerful and dreaded gnat, known as Mayan Fayu Shin, Lord of the White Horse, or the Warrior Gnat. He is considered the guardian of soldiers, police, and travelers. Today, Mayan Fayu Shin is worshipped by those in dangerous professions or before long journeys. A strict taboo is observed. Betrayal of loyalty or mistreatment of animals must never be committed. According to local belief, violating this taboo or insulting the Lord of the White Horse can bring sudden catastrophe, car accidents, or sudden death, especially on journeys. Part 6. Min Kyo Swa, Ko Gyi Kyo, or the Harper Prince. This chronicle takes us again to the royal court of Bagan, but it is a story of sibling rivalry and a tragic betrayal among brothers. There was a handsome, charismatic prince named Min Kyo Swa, who was beloved by the people and adored by the ladies. He was not interested in politics or warfare. Instead, he was a master of the Burmese traditional harp, song, and a passionate enthusiast of cockfighting. He spent his days in pleasure, drinking, and gambling. King Anuradha had 2 sons, but the throne was coveted by many. The younger brother of Min Kyo Swa, Amat Dine, was ambitious and coveted the crown. He saw his elder brother's carefree lifestyle as a potential weakness. Amat Dine devised a cunning and wicked plan to eliminate his rival. One night, Amat Dine invited his elder brother Min Kyo Swa to a pleasure boat on the Irrawaddy River for a night of drinking and harp playing. Min Kyo Swa, unsuspecting of his brother's malice, arrived with his favorite cockfighting rooster. Amat Dine acted quickly. While Min Kyo Swa was drunk and singing with his harp, Amat Dine ordered his secret guards to capture and bind him. Min Kyo Swa was thrown into the Irrawaddy River to be drowned. He died a miserable and pining death, filled with intense rage and finished destiny. His pining spirit became the powerful gnat, Min Kyo Swa, also known as Ko Gyi Kyo. Ko Gyi Kyo is propitiated by those seeking success in pleasure, gambling, or artistic pursuits. However, a strict taboo is observed. Insulting his honor or engaging in indecent acts in his shrine is strictly forbidden. Sickness, sudden financial ruin, or sudden death are said to be the vengeful acts of the Harper Prince. Part 7. Shu Narata, the young Ava Prince. Our chronicle brings us to the royal court of Ava after the fall of the Bagan Empire. This is a heart-wrenching story of a young, innocent prince and the barbaric cruelty of royal suspicion. In the Ava Palace, during the reign of King Min Kong, lived a young prince named Shunarada. He was the king's own son, a gentle and promising boy beloved by the people for his purity and intelligence. The tragedy began with the intricate politics of the palace. Royal ministers, who envied Shunarada's rising popularity, began to spread false and wicked rumors to the king. "My lord, Prince Shunarada is a threat to your throne. He is plotting with the rival kingdom to overthrow you." The king, a proud but suspicious ruler, acted quickly. Without any trial or proof, he believed the ministers. He immediately issued a royal order. The young prince Shunarada was to be captured and executed as a traitor. The king, fearing the prince's physical prowess, devised a barbaric method of execution to destroy his spirit, wrapping him in a heavy sack and throwing him into the Irrawaddy River to be drowned. The young prince died a miserable and pining death, filled with intense rage and unfinished destiny. His pining spirit became the powerful gnat, Shunarada. Shunarada is considered the guardian of children and pining mothers. A strict taboo is observed. Unfair accusations or betrayal of trust must never be committed. According to local belief, violating this taboo or insulting the young Prince Nat can bring sudden catastrophe, pining, or sudden death. Part 8. Shin Nami, the Heartbroken Queen of Magway. This story is a continuation of the tragedy of Thonpan Hla, but from the perspective of her heartbroken daughter. As told in the previous chronicle, Thonpan Hla, the Lady of Three Beauties, died pining in a jungle camp outside Bagan. However, she was pregnant at the time of her rejection by King Anarada. She died while giving birth, and her newborn daughter, Shinnami, was rescued and raised in secret in the Magway area. Shinnami grew up to be extraordinarily beautiful, inheriting her mother's supernatural charm. She eventually married the king of Magway and became his queen. She was gentle, compassionate, and adored by the people, known for her devotion to mothers and families. The tragedy struck when the king of Magway, like many rulers of the time, became involved in royal warfare against neighboring kingdoms. One night, while the king was away on a campaign, his enemies, who envied his power and coveted his beautiful queen, devised a desperate and cunning plan. They acted quickly. While Shinnami was alone in the palace, pining for her husband, the enemies acted quickly. Fearing the queen's physical prowess, they decided on a barbaric method of execution to destroy her spirit, burning her alive in a massive fire. Queen Shinnami died an excruciating and ignominious death, filled with intense rage and finished destiny. After her death, her pining spirit became an exceptionally powerful and dreaded gnat, known as Shinnami, the Heartbroken Queen of Magway. She is considered the guardian of pining women, mothers, and families. Today, Shinnami is worshipped by those seeking success in love or family life. A strict taboo is observed. Insulting women or engaging in indecent acts in her shrine is strictly forbidden. Sickness, sudden financial ruin, or sudden death are said to be the vengeful acts of the Heartbroken Queen. Part 9. Na Zi-Shin, the Black-Faced King, or Lord of the Five Elephants. This story brings us back to the intricate web of human emotions and royal intrigue that defines many Burmese Nat legends. Our chronicle takes us to the ancient kingdom of Tagong. During the reign of King Na Zi, Na Zi was a mighty ruler, but he also had a pining heart. He had a younger brother named Amat Dine, who was ambitious and coveted the crown. Amat Dine devised a cunning and wicked plan to eliminate his rival. One night, Amat Dine acted quickly. While Na Zi was drunk and singing with his harp, Amat Dine acted quickly. He acted quickly. Na Zi died a miserable and pining death, filled with intense rage and finished destiny. After his death, his pining spirit became a powerful and widely propitiated gnat, known as Na Zi-Shin, the Black-Faced King, or Lord of the Five Elephants. He is considered the guardian of power, authority, and cockfighting. Today, Na Zi-Shin is propitiated by those seeking success in politics, gambling, or cockfighting. However, a strict taboo is observed. Betrayal of loyalty or engaging in indecent acts in his shrine is strictly forbidden. Sickness, sudden financial ruin, or sudden death are said to be the vengeful acts of the Black-Faced King. Part 10. Fo Min Kyo, the sorcerer gnat. Our final chronicle takes us to the Upper Chindwin region, during the era of royal warfare and pining hearts. There was an exceptionally talented and compassionate scholar named Fo Min Kyo. He was not interested in politics or warfare. Instead, he was a master of Burmese traditional medicine and alchemical pursuits. He spent his days in pleasure, drinking, and helping the poor. The tragedy begins with the intricate politics of the palace. Royal ministers, who envied Fo Min Kyo's rising popularity, act quickly. They poison the king's mind. My lord, Fo Min Kyo is a threat to your throne. He is plotting with the rival kingdom to overthrow you. The king, a proud but suspicious ruler, act quickly. Without any trial or proof, he believed the ministers. He acted quickly. Fo Min Kyo died a miserable and pining death, filled with intense rage and finished destiny. After his death, his pining spirit became the powerful gnat, Fo Min Kyo, also known as the sorcerer gnat. He is considered the guardian of medicine, alchemy, and esoteric knowledge. Fo Min Kyo is worshipped by those seeking success in medicine, alchemy, or esoteric knowledge. A strict taboo is observed. Betrayal of loyalty or engaging in indecent acts in his shrine is strictly forbidden. Sickness, sudden financial ruin, or sudden death are said to be the vengeful acts of the sorcerer gnat. And there you have it, the complete, tragic, and powerful stories of the 10 traditional Burmese gnats you must never insult. According to local beliefs, their rage, born from betrayal and unfair deaths, still lingers in the spiritual heart of Myanmar. We hope you enjoyed this journey into the mysteries of Burmese mythology. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this video with anyone interested in mythology, spirits, or mysterious chronicles. Leave a comment and let us know which story you found the most tragic. From all of us at Evening Chronicles, thank you for watching, and may you have a mysterious and peaceful night. Goodbye.